So welcome everyone to SEO Made Simple. If you're not sure what SEO stands for, it's search engine optimization. So in this digital world, as we know, most of us go online to start searching for things. So that means us as business owners need to make sure they find us and the right people find us. And that's what today's going to be all about. It's not to go into too much in depth, but it's to talk about the importance of SEO and some of the things that you can do to help your audience find you online. And I'm Laura Dunkley, fractional CMO and consultant, and have been working in marketing for a few years. SEO is one of those things that's just part of marketing strategy, which is why we're here today talking about that. If you want to reach out, please do. If you have any questions about today or want some more assistance, I can be reached at laura@acornstudio.marketing. So the goal, as we mentioned, is to help make sure people can find us and the right people. And SEO is mostly about organic, right? And it's about coming together with paid and organic. But it's when people go in and they type in, I want to find a product, where can I purchase it from, or a service. So SEO is about helping to make sure that your website is forefront in all of your other online channels, but predominantly that website, right? So how do we increase this organic, which is what we're talking about today, qualified, the right people finding you, traffic to your website? So we're going to get started. So why invest in SEO? Okay, so let's backtrack. We talked about we want to make sure we are found. So SEO, why do we invest in that from a marketing budget and time situation? Well, SEO helps to build that long-term value. Where paid ads is great and it supplements and it's driving traffic, but the whole SEO, the purpose of that is to start to build this valuable business, this valuable online platform, so that we can continuously drive traffic and start to build value of our business. So Google, other search engines, other people start to link to it. It starts to build some authority. So this is this long-term value, which is why SEO is a long game. It's meant to be done consistently. So it builds that long-term value. And as we mentioned, customers are searching online. There is a stat there, 68% of online experiences begin with a search engine. The reference to that research is down below. And it's actually worth looking at because there's a bunch of stats. But bottom line, we know they're online searching. And even when they're in the store, they're still on their phone looking for stuff, or they look on their phone or their website, look for online searching for information as they research product and services. So they are searching. We need to be there. Higher visibility equals more credibility. So ranking on the first page of Google builds trust and authority, and that takes a lot of effort to get there, but put in the time, and higher visibility will help you build your credibility. And that's why we spend that time. Organic traffic converts better. At the end of the day, yeah, paid ads are really great. They come, they go there, and people that can put ads together really well can do a good job, right? But it's still part of when they land on your website or a landing page, it all has to work together. So SEO is organic. It starts to attract that high intent user looking for solutions. So it just overall, the understanding is that it can convert better. Quite often SEO and paid ads works hand to hand. So I may go back and forth. You'll see that. But for today, organic traffic definitely can convert better, and we can add that to the discussion at the end. Cost-effective marketing. It reduces reliance on paid advertising. Again, paid's not a bad thing. It's really great to supplement when it has a baseline of good SEO and good content and all those best practices. SEO supports other marketing efforts. Absolutely. It boosts content marketing, social media, local search, all of that. It is everywhere. So it's all about this traffic, and it's supporting your overall marketing budget and efforts. It helps you stay competitive because if you're not optimizing for search, guess who is? It's your competition. So please do make sure you spend the time to invest in SEO. Is it hard? What if I make a mistake? Oh my goodness, there's so many things to think about. Well, this quote from Warren Buffett says you only have to do a few things right so long as you don't do too many things wrong. And it fits really well into the SEO piece because there's a lot of check marks, and anything you do is going to help it, but it has to have a strategy. So just keep going. And there's a few things to stay away from, and don't do too many of those things bad. But if you focus on the best practices, and we're going to talk about a few today, it's going to serve you well. So some of the terms and how do we improve those results, right? Because we mentioned, oh, hey, we want to be on first page of Google, or we want to start boosting up. We want to be ahead of the competition. So how do we do that? Understanding how the search engines work will help you understand how to implement some of your SEO strategies. So SERP rankings, higher SERP rankings is what we want. So SERP stands for Search Engine Results Page, right? So how do we get ourselves moved up in those search engines? Relevance and authority is kind of a very simple, broad way to think about it. Search engines prioritize content that's highly relevant to your user searches and comes from authoritative sources. Businesses must optimize their content and website to align with these principles. And we're going to dive deeper into what that is. But basically, the content and information on your website has to be relevant to who you want to show up. And as you build credibility over time and authority in your website, you start to move up too, because Google says, hey, these people are finding this information. Oh, they must be an authority on this. And it's unique content. It's great. It's awesome. So authority starts to go up. It's relevant. Next thing you know, it's going to support higher search rankings. The other thing to think about is EAT, EEAT, and that's an acronym that stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And it's the framework that Google uses to evaluate your content. So what they want to see is experience. So demonstrates firsthand experience on the subject, the content you're writing, your subject. Are you an expert? So whether you're a consultant or you're a product or whatever that is, how are you demonstrating to that person who's reading your content that you have firsthand experience in that subject? Expertise. So experience and expertise, very close. It showcases your knowledge and expertise. That could be the fact that your FAQ, if people are asking questions, FAQs work really well because now it goes, hey, I know what I'm saying. I've asked a question, you're there. I'm going to come back and ask it again. And just to jump on that, the whole Google AI, and you'll notice your Google first page has changed since AI has come in. They definitely prioritize this type of content. So having FAQs, having those expert answers on your website's going to help you get indexed. Authority helps you earning recognition and credibility. That's what they want to see as you build over time. More people are coming, your authority is going up, and trust, providing accurate and reliable content. So again, AI is going to come in through here, and it's really great to use AI, artificial intelligence, and these large learning language LLMs models is they're great for first draft, but make sure they're accurate and make sure you've added that personality, that style that is yours, that fits within your website. And that's going to help build trust as well. So an SEO strategy, oh, big thing, right? Like it can be overwhelming, and there's just a lot of points, and we're going to very high level touch on some of these, and then afterwards we'll go into a couple actionable items. And just know, if you're just getting started, it takes a lot to get things going, but once the momentum gets going, the checkpoints are much easier. So it's kind of like that rocket ship, right? We got to do the groundwork and then remember to keep going in and keep optimizing it. So let's get started with some of these points. Keyword strategy. Keywords is kind of a little bit misleading, other than there are some words that people in your industry will be searching for, but they're also phrases, their intent. What are they searching for? Make sure you do your homework, know what the phrase is and how they're going to use that, and make sure it's throughout your website, all of those things. Don't be stuffing them. Remember, I said don't do some things bad. Like stay away from things that you shouldn't do. Do it so it's for the user first, right? Like you want to make sure that those keywords are in there so Google's finding them in those phrases, but don't be stuffing them so that they don't make sense. Google will always prioritize the user experience. Their algorithm is to support that. So make sure it makes sense, but use them. The next one is content strategy, and that is goes a lot along with the keyword strategy, right? Because it is, what are they looking for? What kind of blogs do you need to write? What's on your core marketing pages? Do you have videos? Are you putting, well, that gets into the next one, but all of those types of content that you need to be put into has to consider keywords, but it's also the questions. Is it relevant? Is it helping build your authority? Have an overall content strategy. And you need to post and put things up there constantly, because Google likes to see fresh content. So that has to be part of your strategy. Backlinks, what a backlink is, an external there is other websites linking back to you. So if they go, hey, this blog, they did this research and I'm linking to it, and that link now comes back to your website. So by building authority, other websites going, hey, it's so worth talking about that, I'm going to link to them. Or you can get it from directories, different things. So having backlinks to your website from websites that have authority, that are good, is really important to helping build your SEO your SEO strategy. It helps support that. So now the other one is backlinks internal. They also want to make sure that the user experience in moving through all your content, that you can link it naturally. So you're talking about a product, but product A, for example, and product A also has some other supporting. It has B and C products. Well, you're going to talk about all of that, and it's like, hey, also have a look at product B because it makes sense now. And then you're going to link to that other internal page. So it has to make sense, and you have to consider that. Also, just as another thing from a user experience, if you're creating blogs that are supposed to be helping people move through the decision-making funnel, you're going to go, hey, this is really good. This is interesting. What do I do now? Well, call us for a discovery call, or purchase now. It's like, oh, great, because you're going to take them through this journey. And every time you link to something, that's taking them through a path. So it's the user experience. And Google says, hey, all of these great internal links, I'm going to boost up your authority. Then we get into website optimization. So that, again, is part of your whole website. It's not into the technical. We're going to leave that to the next one, but it's about using headings properly. It's about using that it's structured properly, it's designed efficiently, that it's the page speed's going to come up. It really works, and it does work in alignment with that technical piece, because the technical is, are my images optimized? Is it actually functioning? Do I have broken links? Do I have too many redirects? Oh my goodness, there's a lot of functional things not working. We want to make sure we fix that. Plus, we want to make sure the on page, the stuff at the front, the meta descriptions, everything's there so that Google can search through it well and go, hey, I see what you're doing, and you're doing it in a great job. So website optimization and technical usually get fixed and taken care of at the same time. And then we jump into online reviews. And many of us know this, that credibility and authority comes from other people talking about your business. It also helps point people to your business. So online reviews builds credibility from testimonials, but it also has a link coming back to your business, which takes us to that local SEO signals. So when you create a directory, which we're going to jump into talking about Google Business Profile, is that you have that profile listing where you can get reviews that people go, oh, Google's going, yeah, look at all the awesome reviews they're getting. Your authority goes up, but it's also helping people go, oh, it's worth going to look at it. So now I'm going to link over to the website. So it works together really well. And there's so many other local signals. There's local directories, there's local partnerships. If you are part of a chamber of commerce or things like that, and or you've done local presentations, make sure that they're linking, because that's all part of the search too. It also helps you build your backlinks. There's all of this, and that's why it's all together, really needs to be thought through holistically, but they're all individual checkpoints. So that's the very high level of an SEO strategy to help you build and increase the traffic to your website, the right traffic to your website. So let's get started with just diving into some of those a little bit deeper. We mentioned content, right? We mentioned directories. We mentioned, hey, you're part of a chamber. All of those things are part of your full marketing strategy. So SEO can never be considered on its own. It really is a foundation to support an integrated marketing strategy, from content to PR to networking to videos. Like, all of this has to be thought through together. So please do make sure it's part of your overall plan. And then your Google business profile that we mentioned, that's kind of the first one. We all need to make sure we have it, whether we're service or product focused. It's going to be a little bit different, but make sure that we do have it. And there's other directories, as we mentioned, right? And how do we find out what those directories are? Well, there's a link down below there that will take you to some to give you some inspiration. And there's so many more, because there'll be industry specific ones. And you can also see what your competitors are doing. Like, where are they getting linked from? It's like, oh my goodness, that they're on that directory. Maybe I should be on that directory too. And where do you find those? Quite often, if you are using an SEO tool, it'll actually show you where your competitors are and what's linking to them. And we'll show you one of them in a minute. So your Google business profile, this is kind of what it looks like. So once you have it and you log in, this is kind of, it'll look a little different for you than it will for everyone else. But if you can see to the left of this screenshot here is Acorn Studio's business profile. So when I log in, because I'm logged in as the admin, I'm going to see all the things I can do. So make sure it's optimized, even if you have one. If you haven't gone in for a while, go in and have a look, make sure all the information's there and it's filled out and its fullness as possible, so that you can do that. And then it will increase your ratings as well. And then don't forget to ask for Google reviews. It's something that, should be part of your process, right? Ask for, when you're done with your customer satisfied, everything you've done, send them a link, and you can get that link. As you see here, there's a QR code and a direct link, and you can just add it to an email. You can encourage it. There's different things on your phone that you can do too, if you're an in-person service or product sales. So that's just a quick thing that you can do right away to help with your directories. Content strategy. As we mentioned, content is king. I still believe it's king. Make sure it's right. Make sure you did your keywords. Make sure you know your audience so you can deliver user-first, credible, relevant, wonderful stuff to your user, to your potential client, so that they're going to want to keep coming back and they spend time on your website, and all of that is great. So user first, don't worry about Google. Always think about the user first, and Google's just there to support that. And make sure your content's scannable. Remember, we talked about optimization of, the website. That's a lot about the scannability. So using headings, make sure you have bullet points, make sure it's easy for them to read, because they're going to stay on there longer. And that shows to Google, it gives them a signal that, hey, it must be pretty good. Write clearly and succinctly to describe your content. Use those relevant keywords, those long tail keywords, those phrases. Update your content regularly. Please make sure, if you have old content that you've thought through, is that still relevant? Should it be here? Avoid auto-generated content. And to be clear about what that means, it's not about not using AI. Just don't use AI without thought, or don't just have these programs running to collect and scrape other platforms. They do not like it. And I'll tell you, it came across this just an example of this, and I sent it forward. I had a client that, and I said, hey, they showed up in my Google search, and it pinged that their name came up, and I went, hey, here's an article about you. And they looked at it and said, it's totally not accurate. And it's absolutely AI generated. They didn't fact checked. It's like there were so many things. I went, ooh, see, that's really bad. And it was scraped onto a news site that should have known better. So please, please do make sure it's accurate, everything on your website. Part of the reason too is when we discovered and we dove into it, where they were scraping from was actually, and they were a performer, was where they were performing didn't have the accurate information. So make sure anyone who's linking back to you also has accurate information. Just do your homework and stay on top of that. Use text instead of images to display important names, content, or link. That's just a quick tip. And then make sure you add alt text. And I know I talk about this a lot, but if you update an image, put an image up on your website, make sure it's compressed, make sure it's optimized for website, and there's an alt text. It's an alternative text. So if a screen reader is reading it or the image doesn't populate, that it will show up. Google also sees that alternate text as well. So just take the extra few minutes to make sure all of your photos are ready and optimized for search. Okay, so technical and website optimization that we mentioned, those are things like make sure Google can find you. If you haven't had a chance to submit your sitemap, please do it. Just sign up for your Google Search Console, and I will have a link to show you where that is. And that says, hey, Google, I have a website. Can you please search it? I mean, it searches after a while. If you've done it already, that's great. But if you haven't, make sure your Google Search Console has your sitemap. Design your website with a clear page hierarchy that they make sense. It gets really hard when you start to get lots of pages. Are they in the right place? Can they search through in a logical fashion? Make sure the search engines can crawl your pages. There's a URL inspection tool available in most of these SEO tools that you can use. Optimize for page speed, mobile and desktop. Check that because there's certain, Google really does favor those fast load speed times. So do that. There's a page speed insights. You can link through your Google Search Console or just look up page speed insights. It's a free check. Make sure your website appears correctly in different browsers, Bing, Safari, Chrome, especially Safari and Chrome. They definitely show up differently. Create descriptive and distinct titles for your pages. Create quality and descriptive meta descriptions. That's the stuff behind the page that nobody sees but Google. Please do go in and check that. And I know I have been guilty of this before too, is I have duplicated a page because I really like the design. And then I forget to go back in and update the meta description because it's duplicated. So please do make sure you go in and do it and make sure all those pages are working. Using structured data is something for more advanced, but it also will help technically as well. So Google has a webmaster guidelines, and the link is down there if you want more details. Voice search, know that more now than ever, people are searching using their voice. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, right? Hey, Google, find me a pizzeria near me, or find this and find that. And people talk differently than they actually type. So make sure you consider voice and how they're doing it. Use natural language, those long tail keywords. Definitely you're serving a local audience. This needs to be a priority because 3 times more likely to be local searches through mobile is for local people. So please do make that a priority if that's the audience you serve. Answer relevant questions, be concise with your answers. That's where the FAQ page can come in handy. Know your audience, know what they're saying, know what they're asking, and then even certain speech patterns and idioms that they're using, right? So if you are in a technical world or certain acronyms, that maybe isn't usual for other people, but it's relevant to your audience, absolutely use them. And then think about those indirect questions. And that's where your target audience, I can't enforce that enough. Know your audience, get really into what their motivators are, their challenges, that whole target audience exercise. Make sure you get deep into that because you have to know their intent behind their questions. For example, if someone's looking for dairy-free pizza, they might ask for vegan pizzas, right? Because that's having that experience myself. Vegan pizzas, I know it's safe because there's no dairy. It's like, oh, why wouldn't they just ask for dairy-free pizza? Because in the habit, that's what they do. They ask for vegan pizza, just as an example. So definitely know and do some research about how they're asking questions. So research and tracking. So how do we get all this information? It's like get started, right? So Search Console, as I mentioned, if you haven't signed up for that yet, make sure you have access to your Google Search Console. Search.google.com is where you find that. Go in, set it up. It's your free tool. It's amazing what you can learn from this. And I haven't even started to talk about what this can do. I really encourage you to just go in and see what it does. Let me just pull this up a little bit higher so you can see some of the things that Google Search Console offers you, right? Search results, it tells you, it's kind of pulling from that Google Analytics stuff that you will normally see with them. How much traffic are you getting? Is it showing up on the discovery part of the page that Google offers? What are the different pages being indexed? Are there any blocks? Is my sitemap is there listed too? That's where you can find out if your sitemap's been submitted. There's so many more things going down there. I would say just please go in and have a look because one of the key things is you want to know what pages are working for you. And just an example that I just pulled out of ours. And I went, oh, they're looking for Acorn marketing, not Acorn Studio marketing. Oh, wow, that's really good. I'll have to make sure it's in there and that's how they're using it. I also discovered as I was going through here, one of our biggest content pieces is our social media strategy template. Oh, interesting. So it's like maybe I should create more content around that. Or what is being done on that page that's working really well? Is there core things? So I'm going to go in and analyze that to make sure I understand why that traffic is. Maybe it is about, oh, there's another one, content marketing plan template. My goodness, a lot of impressions, but it's not clicking through. So there's all of these things that we can start to analyze why things are working and what's not, and go in and fix it. But you're thinking, how on earth do I fix it? Where do I get started? Right? Like that's kind of overwhelming. Well, I'll tell you, there's different tools out there. I have Uber Suggest up here because it's the one I use. It's quite affordable. There are other tools, Moz Pro, Ahrefs, SEMrush. There's a bunch of different tools that are out there. Some can be quite pricey. So Search Console is free. Uber Suggest is low cost. And if you go in and have a look, see, it will do a site audit. It will tell you your fixes right away. If you have broken links on your website, it tells you exactly where those broken links are. So that's when you go, oh, wow, that's great. It will also tell you how hard it is to fix it and the impact of that fix. So it's kind of helps you streamline your web optimization and your technical fixes. So consider it. It's one of Neil Patel's programs. So some key takeaways. Whew, a lot, right? Let's just pause. Make sure that we include SEO as part of our whole plan. This has to be part and in consideration of everything. Make sure you're creating valuable content and posting it consistently. And when we say valuable, it's valuable for your users, your potential clients, not necessarily for Google, because Google will support that user experience. Get valuable backlinks externally and start to use them internally. Leverage those directories and other local signals, right? So that there's traffic coming back to your website. Encourage online review because now we start to build some credibility and authority about the work that you're doing. Review your performance regularly. Put it into your calendar, just like when you're doing your other marketing work. Make once a month, spend a couple hours just to go in and check your SEO. And that's just an example, whatever works for you. And then fix those things. It's great to see them and, oh, they're broken, but that's why set aside some time to do some fixes. And to get started, I did create a little SEO checklist. It's very short, it's very basic, it's not overwhelming. Just get in and give it a start, to do certain things like that, and then have at it. Just make it part of your overall marketing strategy so that people, and the right people, are finding your website so that they can actually do business with you.